Well, I'm going to go over some of the Cliff High's Webbots and just give a quick rundown of the Cliff Notes, basically summary of them, not the whole thing. I just want to preface this with the fact that I don't actually believe in these Webbots. I don't think he's making accurate predictions. I don't know. Sometimes they seem like you get one, but I don't know how much use they are. So I'm prefacing this with that. And also, if you knew what the future is, you'd make a gazillion dollars. You just wouldn't publish a newsletter. You know, that's but hey, that's just how I think about it. But I'm going to go over what he said. And the old girl here is holding a dog, and she's got her bicycle, and she's ready for the end of the world and stuff. But anyway, what Cliff High says, from January 2013 through May 2013, food supplies are going to be down, and it's going to be noted by increases in food prices. It's going to be, food is going to be going way up. I could personally think that's going to be accurate prediction because, lo and behold, look, we had a drought for many months here in the United States that's been as bad as since 1936, the Dust Bowl of 1936. So, plus there's other droughts going on in Russia. There's problems even in Europe, not with a drought, but abnormal rainfalls. So it looks like there is going to be increases in the price of food. Now the other thing is he's saying that after that time, it's going to be not after, after it's from January to May, the prices of food are going to increase. Then it's going to be more difficult to actually get food. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. Has he ever been wrong? Hey, I won't answer that question. Anyway, but he says that a lot of the, another thing is he talks about people are going to be going on hunts and scavenging in great detail, trying to get food. So he's really painting this like catastrophic end times picture here in 2013. Not the first time I heard this stuff, but I'm going to go over it. This is basically the Webbots, the latest ones. And through April and May, the language shows that there's a definitive shift from cost to actually getting this stuff. In other words, there's going to be a lack of items. So, I don't know. And that's what he's saying anyway. But also, a lot of people are going to start going to prepping. That's what he's saying. Cliff High. So, he says a lot of people are going to go to prepping. They're going to get out of cities. And actually, it's going to cause, like, families to split up because there's going to be controversies over some leaving and going into the wilds and stuff like this. So, take it for what it's worth, I'm not somebody. I know there's people who are into this stuff, but I always came up to the point and I said that if you can predict the future, you'll have a gazillion dollars, and that's exactly how I think Cliff High was actually being paid by some people in Wall Street because they thought this would be useful, but maybe he wasn't being paid anymore because they didn't find it to be that useful. I don't know. That's what it seems to be. Now, he talks about in January 2013, there's going to be this big political crisis that's going to emerge, that food prices will again rise. That's another about the food prices. He's also talking about the derivatives market. He doesn't give a specific date on that. He says it's all going to collapse, and the Chinese are going to try to issue the renminbi as global world reserve currency. Now, I could state this. They can't do that yet. That's going to be impossible. That's something they might want to do eventually. That's maybe a long-term goal, but there's nothing to replace the dollar in 2013. Period. Nothing. In other words, if the dollar's all disappeared and some people want it, it's like it's not going to happen where the Chinese are not set up for the global reserve currency. Now, this is what something Cliff High is saying, but I'll say that's impossible. He talks about other scandals going on with the kidnapping, the murders, rape, molesting of children, and all this type of stuff, that the top elite people are going to get in major trouble for this and stuff. A lot of it's going to come to light. I don't know. It's been coming to light since, the last decades. It's been that way for a gazillion years. Some people say that's not true, but I think there's a lot of evidence that it is true. And even though Cliff High is alluding to this, I'm not going to knock everything he says, but I don't know if it's going to come to light this year, and that there's going to be action taken against it, because I heard this stuff for the last 20-something years at least, and nothing's ever happened about it. Um, even JFK might have been a very good president, but he was a playboy too, and there's a lot of stuff goes on with all of them too. The other thing is, talks about the banksters, and that there's going to be increasing blatant murder of professional hits against the banksters and their families. That's what he's saying. I don't know. To me, this doesn't. Well, I'm just repeating basically a quick review of what he said on the Webbots. That's what he's saying, but personally, I don't think that's going to happen. There'd have to be like a major collapse for all this crazy crap happen. And I don't think it's going to happen in 2013. But he's thinking I think the food prices, I think that's legit without Webbots or anything. I think that's legit. The other thing is, he talks about that the data set points to a near crash of the currency relationship immediately following the great dishoarding of basically what they're talking about. He says that there's going to be mining for silver of the population. Now, I'm a person that I'm not going to part with all of my physical silver, but if I see stellar double gains, I'm going to part with some of it, that's for sure. But I'm not a person to hold, even if you had property, I'm just putting this out as investment advice. If you had property that was worth all this money and you kept it for all these years, and then all of a sudden you sold it for this huge gain of 20 times higher than the property was when you bought it, right? Or more, 100 times or whatever, some crazy number, right? Well, you're not going to keep fiat cash anyway. All businesses don't just hold fiat cash. They look to reinvest, and it's a scary game. That's why it's hard to hold money, because you got to constantly fight to keep it, and it's really, you want to make it grow. So if you trade in silver for fiat, you're not going to be just holding on to fiat cash anyway. You should be looking for investments, possibly like agriculture. But anyway, he talks about there's going to be a rise in the silver prices very fast, and it's going to be a fake out. This is the way I understand it. And people are going to turn in their silver in the droves, and what the elite are doing is mining the silver from the population. That's what he's saying. And it's going to go down after they turn it in, and then it's going to go way the hell up. And then it's like the fiat dollars that you have in your hand for your silver, you're going to get screwed. That's what he's saying. But like I said, if you're going to turn in silver for fiat dollars, I wouldn't turn in all of it just yet. If it goes up a lot, the silver goes up. Make sure you actually have a game plan for the next step. Agriculture might be a smart investment, or just buying food. Now, the other thing is, he talks about the derivatives implosion, the whole thing just going under. I don't think this is going to happen right away, but this is in the Webbots, and it's going to start happening this year. And the other thing is, he's talking about honorable criminals, non-banksters, will be stealing gold from the vaults and other places on levels that perhaps have not been happening in several hundred years. I don't know. Then he also talks about the commercial real estate market's going to collapse. So, I have doubts about that too, because I don't know, maybe there's always certain areas of certain markets that collapse, but real estate, if it has to do with production of food, or if it has anything to do with the production of food, it doesn't even have to be growing the food. It could be something that's trucking the food, processing the food, or whatever the hell it is, or any other related industries. If food's going up really high in price, well, I guess, that real estate, that commercial real estate's going to be holding value very well too. So, I don't know. But those are basically the Cliff High predictions for 2013. He's talking that the food prices are going to go way up from January to May 2013, just to give a quick review. Then afterwards, not only are they going to go up, the food's going to be scarce. It's going to be hard to get. A lot of average people are going to be going into prepping and disappearing from the cities and stuff like that. It's going to cause families to split up. There's going to be derivatives market implosion, and the Chinese are going to try to offer their money as a world reserve currency. I say that's impossible. And also, he says there's going to be a fake out with the silver. It's going to go way up against the dollar, and A lot of people are going to turn it in, and it's going to go down, then it's going to go way the hell up. So the people that turned it in for fiat dollars are going to be screwed and they'll be holding worthless currency. That's what he says. I don't buy that. But if you turn in part of your silver, I just want to say, if any business, I don't care if it's silver, I don't care if they're selling, I don't care if they're selling widgets. You know, business are selling widgets. They sell widgets. They don't just. They either buy more widgets to, more raw materials to make widgets, or they look at other ventures. Nobody business holds fiat cash. None of them do. It's just something that you use. You hold some. So if you sell some silver, you hold some physical cash, and the rest you look to buy hard goods that you think will go up in value or that are essential or protect your butt, that type of stuff. He also says that the commercial real estate market's going to crash. That could be, in general, because that's been talked about for quite some time. And basically there's going to be, killings of banksters and elite people, because a lot of things are going to be coming out in the background of all this evil stuff they've been doing with, all these devil worshiping sexual practices and all this garbage are going to be coming out, and it's going to cause them to, the population's going to take vengeance on them or something. That I don't know. That's been told. I heard that one for like many years now. And then he talked also about the prostitutes, actually the mainstream media, that they're going to be covering for them all the time, and nobody's going to be believing them and that type of stuff. So that's basically the Webbots in a nutshell for 2013. I don't actually believe in these things, but I think without looking at a Webbot, food prices are going to go up because we had this big drought for all this period of time, and it wasn't just in the United States, and it's a drought that's been going back to 1936. So that one I think is legit. So that I think will be fine, but as far as, well, take it for its worth, that's basically the synopsis of the Webbots for 2013.